Hi. Welcome to the show. I'm back. I'm doing some background work. I got here a little late, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna start it on time and do the background stuff while I'm sitting here starting the show. So you're not gonna see. Well, things will pop up as we're going anyway. But anyway, happy Monday. It's the weekend's over. My long travels driving a trailer full of stuff is over, and I'm glad about that. A little bit of melancholy, cleaning out mom's house, and a little bit of, there was some minor drama with me and my nephew, but no big deal. He's my nephew and he's still family. So, and we're it. We're the last, well, we're not it. Obviously both of us have kids, but as far as my immediate family, that's it. And it's just weird. It was just weird going through the house and finding things. Found a lot of cool stuff, though. We've had a host of people in our home over the years, as they were entering their final stage. My grandmother, both my grandmothers, two of my great aunts, and then obviously my parents, my sister. And so we find little things here and there stuffed in corners, and you go, oh, this is kind of cool. I didn't know this. And so, it's a melancholy thing. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about that all day. I am going to talk about the war for oil that's going on right now. I say that kind of glibly, and I put it in the title, but as we watch the gas prices rise and just seeing what our administration is doing about it is really fascinating. It's fascinating. And I'm looking at, I just, boy, I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing. What is it that's so hard about this? There's a solution that everyone understands, at least normal American people, even the super rich understand it. Elon Musk came out and gave it a suggestion that any normal person would think, hey, that makes sense. But for whatever reason, they seem to go in different directions. Oh boy, I don't know if this is going to turn into a rant, but it might. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have like 7 or 8 articles open, but I have a whole bunch of tweety things open because I know a lot of you don't spend a lot of time on Twitter, and the Twitter's when you get the breaking news, and I'm reading this stuff going, wow, there's a lot of propaganda going on out there, and there's a lot of, oh my God. Anyway, let's calm down, Marty. Right now, we're gonna calm down. We're gonna play the intro. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna tweet out the show to the other places that I usually tweet the show to or post the show, because I didn't do that yet. While I'm gonna try to do that during the intro, and then from there we're gonna do a show like we do on a normal day as opposed to Friday. I hope you all enjoyed Friday. I got to figure out what's going on with the microphone, though, the external mic. It sounds so tinny, and I'm like, wait a minute, this shouldn't sound like that. Maybe it's because the Apple, because it doesn't sound like that on my Samsung, but on my Samsung, I don't have a Samsung anymore, so we'll figure it out. Anyway, we'll be back post intro. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. All right, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the PDawgKnight Channel. It's Monday, the 7th of March, 2022. In officially 7 days till the due date of my first grandchild. Well, me and Lady Boomer's first grandchild. We're excited. I got to tell you, we are excited. Daughter's looking happy and healthy. She's excited. She's happy as can be. We're happy as can be. Everything's been on schedule so far. In fact, it's weirdly on schedule. everything that, like, the doctor's like, this should happen this time. And boom, exactly the time that the doctor said it should happen has happened. Everything with my daughter. So she's kind of a organized person anyway, so it kind of fits her personality, but it's just weird how perfectly on time everything. So, although I predicted that her child would come around I predicted the 19th at like 9 in the morning. Nah, that baby's going to come at noon on the 15th. She's going to be, or the baby, we don't know the sex, gender, whatever of well, to me that's synonymous, but that's how I use the English language. But anyway, we don't know what the baby's going to be yet, but it's going to be a healthy baby, and it's probably going to come out at noon on the 15th of March, because that's the middle of the 15th, and it's been this has been one little chop on time, be on time baby. So, we're excited about that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about the goings on in the world that we deal with on an ongoing basis, and it's just what we're going to be doing. So we've got a war for oil going on. If you noticed, I don't know if you noticed that. I watched a video from Nate the Lawyer, who I enjoy watching videos from Nate the Lawyer, and I'll put that video in the tabs today, because everything we do here we put in a single link down in this description at the end of the show, so you look at. I'd like you to watch that, and maybe tomorrow we'll talk about it if you get a chance. But it's a really good video on some nuts and bolts of the Russian invasion that we don't really. It's not like we talk about as much, and it certainly is a fact that. So Crimea, right after some Ukrainian oil, people made some deals for Crimea. The Russians decided to go and take Crimea because, biggest oil industry in Russia is oil. And holy shit, what is all this crap? Let's see. There we go. Why is Russia invading Ukraine? I'm gonna put that video up there, and it'll be in the tab.
So as Russian.
Okay. And then they found, and so then Ukraine cut off the water to Crimea for the most part. 80% of the water, the fresh water going into Crimea was cut off, and so Russians are certainly not happy about that. Then they made some deals. They found more oil, big giant reserves in eastern Ukraine, and now that is kind of weird. That's exactly where the Russians started their the strategic attack was right around those oil fields. It just happens to be in the same area. And then there's a part in western Ukraine that also they found some reserves. And then I noticed there's some Russian tanks. So it's an interesting, coincidence that Nate's theory came up, Nate's theory, right? But let's not pretend. Okay, let's still not pretend that the Ukrainian government and its leaders are the most pristine, clean, folks around, but. Because they have their issues too. It's a corrupt government, and we helped install a corrupt government. But anyway, I kind of want to focus at some point today on what we're doing. Okay, we have this weird cheerleading stance for Ukraine, which I understand in a way. Yes, we don't want people invading other countries, and it's shitty that the Russians are doing that. And boy, we have a holier than thou stance of invading other countries. And boy, Condoleezza Rice comes out saying that it's a war crime if a country invades another country. And I'm like, there is such a thing as mirrors, and sometimes you need to look at one before you open your trap. And, but boy, our government and the people are all gung-ho about, stand for Ukraine. When we were driving We were driving to Omaha this weekend. You know those billboards that change? They're the kind of like TV billboards, and they change. Well, not just those. I swear, it's a 320-mile drive, something like that. About 350-mile drive. No, not 300. Yeah, roughly 350 miles, right? Maybe 360 from the Twin Cities to Omaha. And I saw, I probably saw every 100 miles. I saw a billboard that was either Ukrainian flag or stand with Ukraine or blah blah, or I saw signs on businesses stand with Ukraine, and I just don't get it. I understand we don't want people. We absolutely don't want Russia invading Ukraine or invading a sovereign nation, especially if it's for oil. Gosh, countries that invade another country for oil need to be sanctioned and be. Wait a minute. Oh, we sort of did that. Well, I don't know if we do that. Is that what we did in Iraq? I don't know. At least that's what all the lefties were telling us, right? Lefties, no blood for oil. And I guess they're being consistent because now they're all gung-ho about Ukraine. But I don't think these people could have found Ukraine on a map 1 year ago. Even when the Trump thing and they were talking about him supposedly blackmailing Zelensky and then sold him all those Javelin anti-tank, missiles or whatever they're called, the Javelins and the anti-tank missiles and shit. He certainly protected Ukraine. He was out there trying to protect Ukraine. But they impeached him for it, even though Joe Biden, oh my God, Joe Biden and his son and having the Ukraine ties and Pelosi and Mitt Romney and who's the other one? There's let's see. Nancy Pelosi's son had interest in a Ukrainian oil company. Mitt Romney's son had interest in a Ukrainian oil company. What's the other guy? Joe Biden. Yeah, Hunter had. And there's another guy. They had like all these politicians who had interest in the Ukrainian oil company, and the Ukrainian oil companies were refining oil, and there was this huge thing in Crimea, and then everyone's mad about Crimea. But that was in 2014. That was during the Obama administration. And then we had all the years during Trump with no more Russian incursion into into Ukraine. And then when did they make these deals for oil this time? It's in Nate's video. You watched Nate's video. I'm not going to play it on here, but it's interesting how we suddenly need to be gung ho. But the problem is, so now the price of oil now topped $130 a barrel for oil, and now our gas prices are way up. I'm in the Midwest, if I'm driving between here and Omaha, and I'm paying. What was it? About the average $3.65 a gallon between here and Omaha, and I'm driving a 33-gallon tank Ford F-150 pulling a trailer, getting 7 miles a gallon between here and there. I get better gas mileage when I'm not pulling a trailer, obviously, but I'm just like, holy shit, this trip's cost me a lot of money, and I'm like, well, why isn't the United States doing something about it? Well, they are. The United States is doing something about it. And that's our own war for oil. We'll explain in a minute. But let's first say good morning to the chat and see how everyone's doing. First in the chat today was our friend Tyler Alexander, who gets the bell. Thank you for being here, sir. You were first. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Avocados Diablo, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Nomad.
Stop. Hammer time.
Some of you figure that out eventually. Also, good morning to Lord Stanhope, K-Shaw, Rotten Corpse in the house. Good morning, Jesse, Leon, Lady Boomer sighting. Where's Lady Boomer? Was she in the chat? No, I don't see her. Okay, she was here Friday, right? Also, good morning, Maddie. Shoot, these got to be here. Good morning to Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house, DI Freighter Watcher, Somnambule Nation, Natasha Kayleen, hello, my friend. Good morning also to James Colley. It's the 70s oil started returns. Biden most effective. Yeah, But I think Hunter's not on that board anymore, right? I don't think so. Anyway, let's see. Also, good morning to Attack Alpaca. Sarah, hi, my friend. Good morning, Jedi Ghost Bear. And, oh boy, who else is here? Is that everybody? That's kind of everybody so far. Oh, Scribe, what's up? Dog Thrapple. I'd say Dog Thrapple. Also, good morning to, I see a couple of the names here down low. Sans here. I saw Trippy Liberty. I saw Tyler F. And Elizabeth Moore, who apparently is some sort of bot. Goodbye, Elizabeth Moore. We're going to take care of that right now, which, well, thank you. Thank you, mods, for doing that. I'm going to add some more mods sometimes, just for, because I realize that not always, a lot of you aren't here all the time. Also, hello, Pissed Off Shih Tzu, and Sean DW. All right, so let's figure out what's happened in the world first. First thing, oh shoot, what did I do there? It was not okay. So here's the updates, like at least via Twitter, what's happening. Let me get this so it works. There we go. The world according to Twitter, the breaking news according to Twitter. Good morning. Why are you so angry? Good morning. The world according to Twitter. First of all, Russia announces third attempt at creating humanitarian corridors in Ukraine after reports its military violated previous ceasefires. Fascinating, according to Russia. Now remember, this is Russian state media, and the Russian state media might not tell you the truth. We're going to learn about truth and how to tell if you're reading propaganda or misinformation. I'll tell you about that later. Here we go. According to Russian state media, Russia's military announced a ceasefire and opening of humanitarian corridors in the cities of Kyiv, Kharkiv, Sumy, and Mariupol to come into effect from 10 a.m. Moscow time on Monday. The statement cited a request by the French President Emmanuel Macron to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Previous attempts to allow citizens to evacuate besieged Mariupol failed after reports the ceasefire had been broken for a second consecutive day. The International Committee of the Red Cross said Ukraine will ask the UN's top court on Monday to issue an emergency ruling requiring Russia to stop its invasion. Oh, that'll work, because I'm sure the Russians who are leading the Security Council right now really care what the UN says anyway. Families with children in the Ukrainian town of Ypres have fled Russian airstrikes. The city's mayor said Moscow is recruiting Syrians killed in urban skilled. I'm sorry, that wouldn't make sense. They are not recruiting Syrians killed in urban combat. They're recruiting Syrians skilled in urban combat to fight in Ukraine, the Wall Street Journal reported, citing U.S. officials. I never know whose officials to believe. I'm telling you. And if this is, because this is kind of, as much as it is actual battles, there's a kind of a propaganda war going on too, and it's just weird, some of the things that have been seen, staged photos and things. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to believe. But anyway, let's go with the AFP's thread here. So Russia says it will open humanitarian corridors from 10 a.m. on March 7 to allow the evacuation of civilians from several Ukrainian cities experiencing heavy fighting, including the capital of Kyiv, besieged port city of Mariupol. Buses on standby in Mariupol. That was the video there that was playing. Russia, let's see, they announced humanitarian corridor after another night of restlessness. Wait a minute, what? Announces humanitarian corridor after another night of relentless bombarding by Russian forces from air, land, and sea. Ukraine's leaders accuses Moscow of deliberate murder over civilian deaths. Airstrike at airport, that's breaking at 6 hours ago at Ukraine's Vinnytsia, kills 9, according to rescuers. So anyway, there's a whole thread here on what's happening there. None of it's good. But I'm kind of in the F all these people kind of state of mind. No, I shouldn't say that. Not the civilians. This is undue, unnecessary. it's just crazy. I sometimes I'm a little bit speechless about it. But anyway, now other news that's Twitter seems to think is important. Apparently, there's a Russian whistleblower who has described the war as a total failure that could be compared only to the collapse of Nazi Germany. I'll just go through the thread a little bit. The report, thought to be by an analyst of the SSB, the successor agency to the KGB, said that the Russian dead could already number 10,000. The Russian Defense Ministry has acknowledged the deaths of only 498 of its soldiers in Ukraine. So it's somewhere between those two numbers. Both sides are probably fudging numbers and doling out propaganda, because these are two countries filled and dominated by propaganda. So you never know who to believe. The report said the FSB was being blamed for the failure of the invasion, but had been given no warning of it and was unprepared to deal with the effects of sanctions. The whistleblower added that no one knew the true death toll because we have lost contact with major divisions. We are, quote, we are acting intuitively on emotion. Our stakes will have to be raised even higher with the hope that something might come through for us. By and large, though, Russia has no way out. There is no options for a possible victory, only defeat. So I don't, who's the anonymous FSB source for this? Is this propaganda or is it real? I have no idea. So there's the articles in the Times, at the Times of London, I believe. Now, also, let's see, the letter said that Ramaz Kadyrov, the Chechen leader and ally of Putin, was on the verge of an outright conflict with the Russians after his hit squad sent to kill President Zelensky was destroyed by Ukrainian forces. If that is true, well, fuck around and find out. That's basically, even if Zelensky were killed, the report said Russia would have no hope of occupying Ukraine. Even with minimum resistance from Ukrainians, we'd need over 500,000 people, not including supply and logistic workers. That's an interesting little thing there. How does Putin extract himself from the nightmare of his own making? The analyst said that the SVR, Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, was trying to dig up dirt to claim that Ukraine had built nuclear weapons, a pretext for a preemptive strike. And they've got articles about, there's articles about all this. If you do go into Twitter and if you read this thread, you will have all the articles that they have to support these. Good morning, West, aka Unacceptable Views in the West, and Jada Clay. How you doing? The 2,000-word document was published by Vladimir Osheskin, a Russian human rights activist who runs the anti-corruption website Gulagu.net. And if he's placed in Russia, I hope he's in some kind of hidden bunker in parts unknown. Christo Groshev, an expert on the Russian security services, said he had shown the letter to two FSB officers, both of whom had no doubt it was written by a colleague. Elsewhere in the letter, the author wrote, "Our position in Germany in 1943-44, but that's our position is like Germany. Oh, our position is like Germany in 1943 and 44, but that's our starting position." Well, I think at some point, a lot of the sanctions that the rest of the world put on Russia and then the United States kind of joined in late may have an effect, but I think the Russians were a little bit prepared for that kind of thing. Okay, that's the end of that. So now someone down here says, if you want to read for free the breaking down of the SSB whistleblower report in English. Now, this is interesting. Let me see if I can, oh shoot, I don't want that. I want to do that. I want to make sure that I keep this open. So let me open another tab here and, we'll check this out, because this person is critiquing the whistleblower. Okay, this is fascinating. I didn't see this before. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Oh, it's this one right here. Okay, hang on. We'll bookmark this or copy the link to that and then go back and put that over here. All right, so this is a critique of the whistleblower. This will be interesting because I'm skeptical about whistleblowers, at least in this context, because we don't know if this is something to try to demoralize one side or the other, or push, pump up one side there. You know, here's one thing that I was thinking about as I read that last little section, though. How successful do you think a similar invasion of the United States would go? You know, I always wonder, because not only do we have this image around the world, which is actually true because we have more guns than people in the United States, but I think that a lot of the rest of the world thinks that the United States is just a bunch of people walking around with guns on their hips and shoulders and all over the place. And, you know, if someone tried to invade the United States, how many of that militia that we talk about in the Second Amendment would would retreat to their gun cabinets and be on the ready? I think it would be impossible to occupy the United States in a way that would make sense for any country to invade us. It would just be insane to even try it. I would, you know what? I would suggest any country that's thinking of doing that, they should like invade South Central or the south side of Chicago and see how well that would go for them. Because I'll tell you what, or the hills of Kentucky, where all the guys are, you know, we have people who have guns and they know how to hunt and track. And you think the movie, what was that movie? Wolverine's Red Dawn. You think that was, fiction? Holy moly. Our Red Dawn would be glorious, I think. Anyway, so, real quick, let me, before I get into this thread, let's thank our first sponsor today. And Maddie, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you so much. With a big bullet, and we have lots of big bullets, and we all know how to use them. Maddie says the communist regime lies about what they're doing elsewhere in the world. Say it isn't so, dog. I am shocked. She wrote over dramatic gasps. That was my over dramatic gasp. That was my over dramatic gasp. Thank you, Maddie, for sponsoring the show. And you are a great American. Okay, so here, let's talk about, now this is someone with a thread about the alleged FSB whistleblower letter that was published that damned Russia's military performance in Ukraine and predicted disaster for the Russian, whatever, RU in the next weeks and months. I wasn't sure it was authentic, as Ukraine has previously leaked fake SFB letters as PSYOPs. Right? Right? This letter appeared different, though. This letter appeared different, though. It came via a reputable source, founder of Gulagu.net, and it was way longer than a forger would choose to make. The longer the text, the more risk of making an error. I showed the letter to two actual, current, or former FSB contacts, and they had no doubt it was written by a colleague. They didn't agree with all of his conclusions, but that's a different story. And then the text, they got a link to the text via Facebook. There's also one here with an English translation. So if you get in that thread, you'll find all that shit. So that's fascinating. Insiders saying, hey, Russian insiders saying, we are not doing the smartest thing. This may not work. And we should probably, do some, well, we have no way out. So we have to just keep forging ahead. Anyway, okay, all fascinating stuff. Now, NBC News is trending this morning. And here's why. Is this it? Oh, no. This is part of it. I think, where is it? Where's the... Oh, what do they do with it? well, NBC News was trending this morning because they have apparently a Spanish language, or they were talking about a Spanish language outlet. Oh, here we go. They're saying that the first Spanish language conservative network launches, opening a new front in the political information wars targeting Latinos. Now, notice they didn't use the term Latinx. Thank you, NBC News, for not using that racist term. Because saying Latinx, you know. That's racist! Anyway, but here's something weird that they did when they wrote this article. Probably not a good time to write an article that says, or in the tweet, it says, DEFCON 1 moment. This is a poor, oh, wait, what? What is this? Oh, that's different. DEFCON 1 moment. New Spanish language conservative network feels fresh damn fears over disinformation and Latino outreach. You mean being able to give a different side of the story in Spanish and Espanol? Is that what you're complaining about here, NBC? But, you know, I don't think this is a very good time to even use the term DEFCON 1 for anything. For anyone who knows what the DEFCON ratings are, DEFCON 1 is the imminent nuclear threat. Like, everything else is, DEFCON 5 is not as bad, but you get as close as it gets to 1, it's like a countdown. And when they say DEFCON 1 moment, here's the problem. Democrats are deathly fearful of Republicans making more gains in Latino communities. And the problem is, much like the black communities, Latinos tend to be a little more conservative, particularly in social arenas. Now, for whatever reason, a large majority of black people still vote Republican, or vote Democrat, but that is changing a little bit because you're starting to see the nonsense. However, a lot of the Hispanic communities been seeing the nonsense and going, wait a minute, you motherfucking don't give a shit about us, and you're kind of weird with some of the things you believe. And so we're getting in, the NBC is very concerned that, oh my gosh, Democrats fear disinfo and Latino outreach. Oh, wait, you're saying that conservatives shouldn't have Latino outreach? Oh, then here's their poster child for what they're afraid of. Latinos for Trump. They like Donald Trump. Anyway, in Miami, the nation's first Spanish language conservative network launches Tuesday morning on satellite radio, opening a new front in the political information wars targeting Latinos in the United States and beyond. The network, called Americano, arrives during a crucial inflection point in U.S. politics as more Hispanic voters show signs of drifting right. Uh-oh. What the hell? Sorry. Drifting right, and Democrats continue to sound the alarm about Spanish language right-wing disinformation on social media and local radio, particularly in Miami, which is also Americano's home base. It's scheduled to launch first on Sirius XM radio, then on streaming TV this summer, offering a mix of news programming and commentary. The network has close ties to former President Donald Trump and his campaign, as well as to the former Florida Governor Jeb Bush. Now that's weird. That's a weird juxtaposition. It has ties to Donald Trump and Jeb Bush. That runs the gamut of Well, it doesn't run the complete gamut of Republican thought, but holy smokes, Trump and Jeb Bush. And Jeb Bush, who represents the more moderate wing of the Republican Party. Also, ahead of the Tuesday broadcast, Democrats in Florida raised concerns publicly and privately that programming would contribute to the spread of misleading claims targeted at Spanish speakers that skyrocketed during the pandemic and the 2020 campaign. Oh, you mean like when we said things that you said was misinformation like 18 months ago that all has become true now? I'm just curious if that's what you're talking about. Hello, Septus Wolf. I see you there. Americano founder and CEO Ivan Garcia Hidalgo bristled at the notion that the privately funded network is going to purvey disinformation or misinformation and accused Democrats of trying to cancel speech they don't like. Hello? They're scared, and they should be, Garcia Hidalgo said of Democrats in an interview. Democrats took Hispanics for granted too long, and no one thought to create a home for us in conservative media. There's an appetite for this. You see it on social media. You'll see it in elections. Yeah, you know, largely, Hispanics are largely Catholic, religious, family-oriented, nuclear family-oriented, and conservative thoughts. Even, and I dare I say it, even the people who come here illegally are still, except for the welcome mat provided by Joe Biden, they get here, they're going, holy shit, these people are weird. So anyway, good. You know what? Good for them. Now, I don't know if that was the only reason NBC was trending, but that was one of the reasons. And let's see. Best interruption of a live shot. The best interruption of a live shot I've ever had. NBC news reporter Ellen Barber wrote about the sweet interaction. Well, let's check this. Well, no, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, that's why they were trending. Moving on. Now, speaking of misinformation, and this is Twitter. And so when they talk about misinformation, usually they mean information that doesn't comport with leftist ideology, but, or if it's factcheck.org or PolitiFact or anything like that, it's always going to be partially, something if Democrat says that's a complete lie, well, it's partially false or it's partially true. But if it's a conservative, it's pants on fire. So anyway, I found this thread and I found it fascinating. I thought we'd go through and tell you how to recognize misinformation. I think because they're talking about Ukraine and they're saying, well, you're getting a lot of misinformation and propaganda, which both sides are masters of. Anyway, this is First Draft News saying a large amount of mis and disinformation has circulated on social media in multiple language over the past few days regarding Ukraine. Trustworthy information is as important as ever in times of crisis. So here are our top tips and tools, which I'm sure they certainly are tools. First and foremost, be wary of the difference between misinformation and disinformation. While they can seem interchangeable, the difference lies in the intent. Precise language is important, e.g., propaganda can fall under the umbrella of disinformation. They have a little graphic here. Disinformation, when people intentionally create false or misleading information to make money, have political influence, or to maliciously cause trouble or harm. Oh, you mean like them denying Hunter Biden's laptop? Sorry. Why do people share disinformation? Money, political gain, and to cause confusion, to sow mistrust. Oh, is that like sowing discord? Now, misinformation is when people share disinformation, but they don't realize it's false or misleading, because then they'll call you a Russian bot. They don't realize it's false or misleading, often because they are trying to help or want to feel part of a community. Why do people share misinformation? Out of fear and wanting to protect people they care about or to connect with others who are sharing similar information. Oh, they're so that's touching. Anyway, second, visual misinformation gains lots of attention. We've seen time and time again old photos and videos recirculating during times of crisis, which can cause more chaos and confusion. Preventing this can be as easy as running a reverse image search. So, for example, visuals reportedly from Ukraine are already circulating online an hour after Putin's announcement, but not all of them are relevant, so please try to verify before you share. This one, viewed nearly 200,000 times on Twitter alone, shows an air show in 2020. Is that photoshopped too? I don't know. Anyway, you can run reverse image searches on a few different search engines. We recommend using the browser extension RevEye, which puts all these searches just one click away. Oh, how convenient. Going deeper, you can run checks on all of our 5 pillars of visual verification. The more you can dig up about each pillar, the stronger your verification will be. Yes, everyone on Twitter does this every single time, except for a few who just give you some misinformation and disinformation. But most people are very diligent about not retweeting and passing on bullshit. Yeah, right. Hey, there's Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
I hit the right button, too. PDawgKnight, I remember in the 90s during the Gulf War, lefty chanting no blood for oil. Now lefty willing to side with literal not C for oil. I think you meant oil. Yes, that's right.
That's right.
Oh, gosh, dang it. Stop moving. There. Okay. So they have to do that, and also imposter accounts. Imposter accounts. You know what I mean? Like, is that like bots? Imposter accounts are also common, pretending to be trusted sources of information or a certain identity group. Here is a basic checklist for making sure you're getting information from a trustworthy source account on social media. Well, here's the thing: if your source has a Ukrainian flag in the bio, be wary. Anyway. Or Totem Jesus sports teams, or pronouns. There, that can be a quick tip off. Or if it's PolitiFact or Snopes or Glenn Kessler, then you can almost be sure that there is going to be a political bend to the facts, even if they're fact checking something. If you decide to share falsified videos as part of a debunk, make sure that to use an overlay to prevent the image from being recirculated out of context. This can be as simple as adding a watermark over the image, labeling it unverified or out of context. So that's what they did up here. They put a watermark that's saying out of context so no one could share it again. Oh, because no one could get from somebody else who tweeted or not. Anyway. And then archiving the content you come across is important for historical and legal purposes. And then finally, further reading Bellingcat's earlier advice on how to report or not to report on Russian disinformation. Notice they only say on Russian disinformation. Do you think there's any disinformation coming from anybody besides Russia right now? I mean, granted, the Russians they're the type of, they're propaganda masters, but guess what? You know who else did propaganda when they were part of the Soviet Union? That Larry of Ukraine. Who'd they learn from? They learned from the pest. Anyway, a lot of them are still there. Anyway, finally, you may come across distressing imagery during this time. Take a break and refer to this guide from Dart Carter, How to Reduce Your Trauma Load. Guess what? If you have a trauma load from looking at pictures on the internet, get off the internet and be glad the bombs are not dropping on you. Anyway. So yeah, we already talked about the DEF CON thing here, which, okay. This is another interesting one. There's one here. This is NBC. Now remember, NBC is an arm, basically, the kind of an arm of the Democratic Party. Let me make sure I put these together so when you go through the tabs, they're in the right place. This is a good one, though. Hello, Aaron Meredith. Now, this is beautiful because this is NBC. This is pumping up president, trying to get a president, getting his approval ratings up because his approval ratings shit. And but this is how he gets a chance to look like he's doing something, right? Look at this headline. And if you can't see it because you're watching on just listening, the headline from NBC News: as Biden leads the world, as Biden leads the free world against Putin, Trump equivocates. No, Trump tells you how much shit you're doing wrong, and he's right. By the way, Donald Trump's trending today again. I don't, because whatever. I think I have that one too. Do I have that one? Maybe not. I don't know. I closed that one. Anyway, so this is analysis, aka our own sort of propaganda BS of opinion journalism disguised as news. The president is at the forefront of a coalition that isolated the Russian strongman and rallied to aid Ukraine as his predecessor swiped from the sidelines. Well, guess who wouldn't? If he weren't on the sidelines, we might not be in this mess, but who knows? I can't guarantee it would be different, but remember, Putin puppet, no invasion. Non-Putin puppet, invasion. Obama, invasion. Putin puppet, no invasion. Obama-Biden administration, invasion. Biden administration, invasion. Putin puppet, no invasion. How many times should I repeat this? Right? So anyway, let's see what this says. Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen is I don't know. Who cares? Listen. Now this is. I got a feeling you're about to witness. Wait. Is there a name for when you use your tongue for something? Is there like a technical term? Let me look that up first. Let's look that up together. Is there a name for when you use your tongue? Oops, T-O-N. To clean something. Other than licking, obviously. Let's see. No, not how to clean your tongue. No, not how to clean your tongue. No. Oh, rimming. Oh, ew. I didn't want to hear about that. No, not all. Okay, never mind. Anyway, this article is like one of those tank cleaning moments from NBC. Anyway, so should I read this with some drama? It is rare that a president can show he is living up to the mantle of leader of the free world, and even less common for him to do so against the backdrop of his main political rival praising an autocrat. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You mean that because Biden said Putin was smart? You know who else said Putin was smart? Or Trump said Putin was smart, right? You know who else said Putin was smart? Joe Biden said he was smart. Hello, gayest person on YouTube. Welcome back. But that's what President Joe Biden did during his first State of the Union address, highlighting how he has led the Western world in defending Ukraine against the Russian invasion. Did he now? How exactly did he defend Ukraine against the Russian invasion? Have the Russians invaded? Are they still invading? Are they still in Ukraine right now? He defended them? How? Didn't really, criminal world order. Oh my goodness. I'm curious. So anyway, quote, 6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. Really? Is he out yet? Is he out yet? Oh no, he's still in there? He's still all up in there, up in the Ukraine. He's all up in there. He badly miscalculated. He's still there. Biden said to a roaring bipartisan standing ovation on the House floor. Well, all those people got a lot of investment in Ukrainian oil, and the Russians are stealing it. So I'm pretty sure they know what's up. He thought he could divide us at home. In this chamber and in this nation, Biden continued, he thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. Okay? One notable exception, former President Donald Trump. Less than 2 weeks ago. Now, this is what they do. They'll take a clip or even one word out of a sentence without putting in the full context of what he was saying, and they'll use that one word in a way that isn't necessarily complete. Tongue bath, PDawgKnight, tongue bath. Yeah, you can say he's tongue bathing his taint. They're tongue bathing his taint right now with this article. As opposed to tongue buttering a turtle cave, which that's an old Lords of the Night joke. Anyway, less than 2 weeks. Listen to this sentence carefully, because pay particular attention to where the quote marks are. Thank you. Less than 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump praised Putin as a, quote, genius, end quote. Oh, was that the entire quote? Oh, they actually say something. On Saturday, during a speech to the Conservative Political Action Conference, he altered his formulation to blaming Western leaders for being so, quote, so dumb, end quote. Hello, Brent Hayes. And just hours before the applause washed over Biden, Trump complained that Republicans, Democrats, and the news media, quote, misinterpret, end quote. They keep pulling out just one or two words to quote and then don't actually give you the full quote. His remarks about Ukraine, even as he again declined to directly criticize Putin. That's bullshit. If you listen to those, because after they said that, I went back and listened to one of those speeches. He's saying that this oh, there it is. He declined to directly criticize Putin. Quote, the Russian attack on Ukraine is appalling, end quote, he said Saturday night. Quote, it is an outrage and an atrocity that should never have been allowed to occur, end quote. So he's criticizing the attack. Is that, I guess he didn't say Putin's name. Wherever Trump stands, it is not with Biden's anti-Putin legion. Biden is at the forefront of a global coalition that has isolated the Russian strongman, levied debilitating sanctions on him, and rallied to provide aid and moral support to Ukrainian fighters. Okay, I suppose that's what we're supposed to do. I don't know, but weird. He's still there fighting and creating corridors for refugees to get out so he can destroy more shit. Wow. Sanctions are working, I guess. In the battle between democracy. Oh, wait, whoa, that's the wrong one. How about this? In the battle between democracy and autocracies, democracies are rising to the moment. Well, how about Ukraine? Is that really a democracy? I mean, they kind of voted for the comedian to be president, but that whole government is kind of brought in on a coup that was orchestrated to the Obama administration. But we won't talk about that. And they're one of the most corrupt governments in the world. But look. Let me say I would say we're on the right side. Russia should not be invading Ukraine. But to pretend that everyone on this is good guys and that we need to have our fingers in the mix, I'm always curious. But anyway, democracies are rising in the moment, and the world is clearly choosing the side of peace and security, Biden said Tuesday night. Oh, that's what Biden said at the State of the Union. Now, it is not clear whether there will be any direct domestic political consequence to U.S. actions in Eastern Europe. It is not yet clear whether there will be any direct domestic political consequence to U.S. actions in Eastern Europe. That's because the outcome of Ukraine's battle to remain independent is in doubt. Because Biden and the world are uniting against Russia, but it's okay. Because most American voters don't cast ballots based primarily on foreign policy. But they wish, boy, does NBC wish they did. And they want to make it look like Biden's winning, I guess. I don't know. In normal times, a former president's position on a distant war would be politically irrelevant. But Trump appears to be lining up to run again in 2024 when Biden says he will be a candidate for re-election. More important, for the time being, Trump's odd, this sounds like David Pakman, odd equivocation. The invasion is bad, but Putin is blameless. Whoa! This is it. They're writing that Trump is saying that the invasion is bad, but Putin is blameless. No, he's saying Putin made smarter moves than we did, and we need to fix that shit. But I'm just saying, is underscoring Biden's certitude at a time when Biden's approval ratings have been stuck below 40%. Well, that's important in this article, this approval rating, because that's what we're worried about. That is reflected in the fact that most Republicans in Congress are closer to Biden on Ukraine policy. Okay, good. Trump, for example, mocked the U.S. and its European allies for threatening to sanction Putin if he invaded, suggesting their attack gave the Russian president a green light. It would have been a different, I'm pretty sure it would have been differently put that, we're going to threaten sanctions if he invaded. Why didn't you just put sanctions on as soon as they had troops on the border? Or why didn't you threaten? Well, here, let's see what Trump said. If you take over Ukraine, we're going to sanction you, they say. Trump said Saturday night, sanction, well, that's a pretty weak statement. Yeah, it kind of is. It's like, if you invade Ukraine, well, we're going to sanction you. We're not going to blow you to bits. We're going to sanction you. That's a difference. If you cross this border, we're going to blow up every tank that you send across the border and maybe hit Moscow. Well, that's a super duper provocation, right? But do you think that would be a much stronger statement than, well, if you take over Ukraine, after you take it over, we will sanction you. Or after, in your process of killing people, we will sanction you. Oh, sanctions. Oh, devastating. But the Republicans in Congress have been supportive of U.S. sanctions on Russia, except for oil. We'll get to that. And Putin's allies. Many of them have pressed the administration to levy heavier sanctions faster. They're kind of slow with it. And I know a lot of the rest of the Europeans. I mean, the problem with this headline, Biden leads the free world against Putin. No, he's been following. He's been late on some of this stuff. There are other countries are already doing their sanctions, and the U.S. is playing catch up. We're not leading on this. Would we be leading under a different president? And I don't mean just Trump. Even Democratic presidents might have been leading more on this. I don't know who they might be in these days and age because, they're kowtowing to the woke brigade. But and of course Obama wouldn't. Obama already proved that he wouldn't do anything. Crimea. Quote, I was pleased to hear President Biden's call for national world unity and support for our ally Ukraine as it faces a brutal assault from Russia, Senator Rob Portman, Republican of Ohio, said in a statement Tuesday night. While the administration has now implemented the sanctions, some of us called them to be implemented before the invasion occurred, which would have made more sense. I urge them to do even more sanctions and use all the tools at their disposal to hold President Putin accountable. Oh my God. It was savvy of President Biden to start his speech with the section on Ukraine where his policy is most unifying, because even casual viewers would see images of Republicans and Democrats applauding as he led the American government in making a forceful statement of support. Probably the biggest thing in everyone's mind. But, you know, he sure didn't talk much about Afghanistan. But if there's any doubt about the larger role of Biden sees himself in, he clarified by using the phrase, quote, free world, end quote, 3 times. The free world is holding him accountable, Biden said of Putin. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war on Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. And if the free world is stronger, so is its leader. Oh, gosh. Jonathan Allen says this will be leader. He's the leader. Good morning, 340 Yoda. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
For sponsoring the show with another deuce. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar, who says, I wonder how many Russian soldiers the feminists have racked in Ukraine. Like the supermodel with her loaded airsoft rifle.
That's right.
Because diversity is our strength. Unless real shit like war happens.
That's right.
Repeal the 19th for women happiness. I want Maddie and D.I. Freighter Washer to be able to vote. So I don't want to repeal the 19th completely. Anyway. So, interesting little tongue bath for President Biden. All right, so let's talk about Earl. Here's that Trump thread. There's people talking about Donald Trump on Twitter now. He's trending right now. A lot of people are saying that he was right. Some people are saying it would be worse if Donald Trump here. But here's a few examples of what people are saying about Donald Trump on Twitter. The Telegraph of the UK. Oh my God. What is the Okay, people across the pond. Is the Telegraph anywhere near a conservative paper? I'm curious. I am so curious. Is this the Telegraph of London? They're saying Trump was right on Russia. Hang on, let me see if I can get the. I'm going to archive this for well, because I have to. What the hell did I do there? That wasn't it. Let me try this again. Okay, Telegraph. Copy. Oh, there it is. That worked. No, that didn't work. Let's try it this way. I'm stunned that this. Tell me, what's the Telegraph's leaning? I mean, because aren't all the London papers pretty much left-ish compared to the United States? I mean, not necessarily left, but left-ish. Donald Trump was right on Russia. He could have been its deterrence. Critics obsess about his crazy rhetoric, but he held the line against Putin and was no isolationist. Holy balls. This is a European paper praising Donald Trump. Donald Trump is like one of those Roman emperors who everyone hated at the time, but historians later admit was a prophetic. His advice on Ukraine is to paint Chinese flags on F-22s and bomb Russia. That's classic Trump. Mad, bad, iconic, ironic, and insightful, because while we want to help, we also don't want to get hurt. So we can let Beijing take the rap? ? The case against Trump is that his bizarre outburst emboldened Moscow by flattering Putin and diminishing NATO. He was even accused of threatening to withhold military aid from Zelensky to force him to dish any dirt he might have on the Biden family's business dealing, earning himself a congressional impeachment. So universal was the perception that Trump was in bed with Putin that on holiday in Moscow, I spotted a t-shirt that said, Donald Trump making Russia great again. Ha! Nevertheless, Putin took Crimea in 2014 under Obama and invaded Ukraine in 2022 under Biden. I should say the first one was under the Obama-Biden administration because that's how Biden described it. So it's reasonable to guess that this invasion wouldn't have happened under Trump because it didn't. Saying it louder for the people in the back. Goodbye, bot. Trump says this is because he told Putin he was ready to drop a bomb on Moscow. He sort of believed me like 5% or 10%, and that's all you need, which is embarrassing if a lie and terrifying if true. But it does fit with the substantive record of his administration. Obama resisted sending lethal aid to Ukraine. Trump did. From 2017 to 2019, the Trump administration carried out 52 policy actions against Russia. Thank you, Mr. Putin puppet, but why are you putting 52 actions against Russia when you're supposed to be my puppet? Ranging from sanctions to military action against Putin's client, Bashar al-Assad. When Assad used chemical weapons under Obama, America did not reply with force. When he tried the same shit under Trump, they said trick. Trump hit a Syrian airbase with 59 Tomahawk missiles. Separately, U.S. commanders engaged directly with Syrian soldiers and Russian mercenaries. The details were classified, but President bragged about it in a fundraiser. Trump called out the bad. He mocked the pretensions of the good. And at the 2018 NATO summit, he demanded that his allies spend more on military and pointed out that they were buying energy from the very country, Russia, they were buying, they expected America to protect them from. The West wasn't just sanctimonious, it was cheap and greedy, and its decadence was sapping its deterrence. In that policy era, Trump, despite being labeled an isolationist, stood in a long line of Republicans who asserted the best way to avoid a fight is to signal to your opponent that if they lay one finger on you, you'll break their nose. By contrast, does anyone doubt that Biden's incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan encouraged Russia to try its luck? Weakness escalates tensions. Politicians typically try to extricate themselves from the resulting crises through overreaction, to bomb North Vietnam or surge troops in Iraq, and now there's talk of imposing a no-fly zone over Ukraine. If we don't do it, says Zelensky, we are complicit in the murder of citizens. His anger is righteous, but the same Westerners who tell us that Putin is insane and desperate can't then advise us to risk nuclear war with him. When a house is on fire, we try to put it out. We don't show our solidarity by burning down the whole street. Another common notion is that Ukrainians are okay, anyway, I'm shocked that there's a paper in Europe praising Trump. Other people talking about Trump. Gas is at $7 a gallon in California. Idiots. Oh, yeah, well, under Trump, there were a bunch of mean tweets and stuff, and he had sex with a porn star at one point in Melania and Russia. And Biden is crapping the bed, so what trends on Twitter? Under Trump. At least they're obnoxiously consistent. Let's see, this says, everything that liberals screamed would happen under Trump is instead happening under Biden. Under Trump, gas was $2 a gallon less expensive. Russia was not bombing Ukraine. We were not humiliated in Afghanistan. Inflation was not skyrocketing. Is this building back better? Buttholes. Fact. Nothing. Everything was better under Trump. We had world peace under Trump. We have World War III under Biden. Time to take a deep dive into why Biden's foreign policy sucks. Things wouldn't have gotten this bad under Trump. Oh, here's one. Life under Trump. Cheating is okay. Lying is acceptable. Abuse of power is fine. Bullying is allowable. Stealing is not a problem. Your word means nothing. Personal attacks are fine. Double dealing is admirable. Laziness is a desirable quality. Being disrespectful is permissible. Decency and integrity are for losers and suckers. Hey! And Putin didn't invade Ukraine. Ha! Oh, they didn't have that one on there. Michael Pack, the head of the VOA under Trump, raised concerns about foreign spies potentially infiltrating VOA. That's Voice of America. Oh, here's a President Biden fan. Under Joe Biden, my life has been better. My family is still alive and well, thank God. Under Trump, I lost 6 family members. under Obama lost 0. What? The actual fuck are you talking about? Oh, are you saying they died of stupid 19? What state do you live in? I'm curious. I guess I'm not going to look that up. Oh, and this has, look at this. They have Trump over here with the sides and this guy and this guy and this. We are the world and all these people are dying. Really, who's the bloodshed happening under right now? It's just funny. Under Trump, the economy went broke like every business he ran. The worst president ever. Really? Did it now? There's an article like that. The economy went broke. You mean stupid 19 happened, right? And the experts said we need to shut down everything for 2 weeks to slow the spread. Is it the anniversary of 2 weeks to slow? That's coming up, isn't it? Isn't the second anniversary of 2 weeks to slow the spread coming up? I could have sworn that's coming up. Anyway, if you're curious. Now, let's get into what I was meant to talk about. As I said earlier, U.S. crude soars above $1.30 a barrel. The price of oil surged Sunday evening, putting pressure on gasoline prices and inflation. You know what? So, I took this trip to Omaha over the weekend, right? And when I filled my truck, well, first of all, Thursday night, I think I filled my truck Thursday. Yeah, Thursday night. And I think I paid, it was like $3.49 a gallon on Thursday. Now, on Friday, I had to fill up again in the middle of my trip, and I was still in Minnesota when I was filled up. Or no, I filled it up again, so I did some driving Thursday, so I filled it up just to top it off. And I paid $3.49. The very next morning, it was $3.65. And later in my trip, it was $3.79 a gallon. And remember, I'm that trip to Omaha, pulling a trailer with my truck. I'm getting like 7-8 miles a gallon. So yes, it was an expensive trip. I don't think would it have been cheaper to fly? I don't know because I can't carry a trailer when I fly. So anyway, crude go above $130 a gallon. West Texas Intermediate Crude Futures U.S. benchmark rose as high as $130.50 a barrel before retweeting to 123.09. So yeah, price of oil's going up, right? Well, our Congress critters are thinking about doing something about it, right? So here's now, but wait a minute. Oh no, this is what they're doing about Ukraine. Pelosi is agreeing that we should ban the oil coming from Russia. Here, let's just listen to the question. Here's Nancy Floaty Teeth, and listen to the question and answer here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
There's been a push by some Democrats to ban the import of Russian oil, and I believe that Senators Manchin and Murkowski are going to put forth a bill on that today. Where do you stand?
I'm all for that. Ban it.
All for banning it.
Ban the oil,
Ban
the
the oil
Russian oil
coming from
import.
Russia. Yep.
Interesting. So she's all for banning the oil coming from Russia. Hello to Rai Deos and Tessa Cunningham, by the way. And let me do this real quick. This is some inspirational. Thank you for sponsoring the show, Rai Deos. And I'm sorry, Maddie. I am so sad that I didn't do this. Maddie, you are
the new
Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Did I do that earlier? Maybe I did. Oh, I did. Okay, never mind. Trideos, thank you for the dropping a 5 in the bucket. It says, this is Ezekiel 34. I think spells out our world leaders. Ezekiel 34, I think spells out our world leaders and those with power perfectly. No one is of value beyond a simple poker chip unless you are in these greater groups, which are too few people. No one is of value beyond a simple poker chip unless you are in these greater groups, which are too few people. I don't know Ezekiel 34. Is that it? I'm not sure. Anyway, thank you so much for sponsoring the show. You are a great American. And nice to see you back every once in a while. It's good to have you here. All right. So anyway, so yeah, her answer is yes, we should ban it, right? They're not banning it. And Russia is one of the top crude oil and petroleum exporters globally. Well, they have, in theory, the largest reserve in the world, although now we figure out how to get our oil out of our own soil and stuff. And we actually have larger reserves than anyone now, but we aren't taking advantage of that thing. But Russia, okay, so they're one of the top crude oil and petroleum exporters globally. According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration in 2020, Russia was the second largest net exporter, sending an average of 540 barrels daily to the United States. And in 2021, an average of 670,000 barrels were exported to the United States. So we're bitching about Russia, but we're using their oil, right? Now, Canada is the highest export rate, has the highest export rate to the U.S. 670,000 barrels reported on average. High month was 2020 October, 660,000 barrels are the two highest months. In May with 847 million barrels. In comparison, Canada exports over 3 million barrels to the United States a day. Holy shit. And like Iraq is fifth, 176,000. So anyway, now remember, under Trump, we were a net exporter of energy, but no one's thinking about that. So she's saying, yes, we should sanction Russian oil, right? She says we should ban the import of Russian oil because her son's a Ukrainian energy company. But, you know, that's the shot. But here's the chaser. Joe Biden says... Joe Biden says, well, he's strong-arming Democrats to vote against a Russian oil ban because, you know, prices are going to go up. Joe Biden has been bragging about how tough he is on Russia after Putin began a war of aggression in Ukraine. Indeed, the sanctions that Biden and most European countries have imposed on Russia in the wake of the invasion are among the most severe in history, including excluding Russia from a SWIFT network of financial transactions. So why was Biden jawboning Democratic senators, strong-arming them to vote against one of the most devastating sanctions of all, banning the import of Russian oil in the United States? While the United States doesn't import a lot of oil from Russia, 660,000 barrels a day, the U.S. ban would maybe that's a month, would set an example for other nations to halt the import of Russian oil. Even if no countries followed our example, the ban would be the ultimate rejection of Russia and its war aims by the U.S. Congress. There's legislation being sponsored by Senator Joe Manchin and Lisa Murkowski that's gaining co-sponsors and momentum. And with House Speaker, I'm starting to talk like House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. With House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the board for the ban, such a measure could probably pass easily, but Biden wants the oil ban in his hip pocket to use in a more dire situation. Oh, does he now? Now, this is an Axios. Well, anyway, I'm going to skip that. In fact, Biden is giving priority to global energy supplies rather than damaging Russia by using Russia's dependence on oil exports to keep its economy afloat. Now, because remember, isn't it like 50 or 60% of Russia's economy is oil? So you could that would hurt them right away, right? Oh, but he wants to keep it in his hip pocket. I don't know. So that's interesting. Now, remember, Biden met with the Saudis, right? Or talked to the Saudis. I don't know if he met with them, but he talked to the Saudis and said, hey, can you help a brother out and increase your oil exports, right? Or increase your production so the price of this oil would go down? Because a lot of people are getting really filthy rich over the price of oil right now because it's gone way up. And especially Russia. Because, by the way, did you know, Trump he's worth like 3-point-something billion, or was. His net worth went down while he was president. Did you know that Vladimir Putin's net worth is over $20 billion? I didn't know that. I just found that out. I'm like, holy shit. I wonder why. Because, this is in a country where you can basically, well, I can take what I want. Don't question me. Anyway, but so the Saudis said, we're not going to increase our production of oil. So, but instead of So because you got Nancy Pelosi and you got the people in the Congress critters are saying we're going to ban the importation of Russian oil. Well, you got to make up for that 660,000 barrels. Is it a day? Did they say a day? Let me look at that again because that sounds weird. It's a day? No, that's the wrong one. This one right here. 540,000 barrels daily. Oh my God! On average, 670,000 barrels are exported to the U.S. That says that's a month. This said daily 500. Oh, 540,000 barrels daily. So, and the Sauds are not going to increase their production. So where does he go? Does he go to American oil company and say, hey, you know what? We need some relief for these American people who are paying $7 a gallon in some parts of Cali and $6 in places and even $3.50 in the Midwest, which is just unheard of. Does he go and say, hey, American oil companies, you know, maybe we should let's just have a little drilling session here, and we're gonna produce some more oil ourselves and just get back to our own net exporting of oil. It would make America, it'd make a lot of companies richer. It'd make there's a lot of tax money that you'd be able to get up, because especially right now. But it would also start lowering the price of oil because you'd have more production. No, he didn't do that. He said, let's go to Venezuela, another country that is people we don't necessarily are kosher with, right? Senior officials traveled to Venezuela on Saturday to discuss potentially easing sanctions on their country's oil industry in an apparent bid to isolate Russia from its remaining allies, according to reports. So we're going to take away the sanction on Venezuelan oil, and we're going to, and because we're putting it on Russia. What? So. This is so mind-boggling. And you know what this is? You know what this is. They are so worried about staying green, right? So worried about staying green. But you're not going to, that doesn't happen overnight. So what sense does it make if you're saying, well, we don't want to look like we're ramping up our energy production in the United States? It doesn't, it's, you know, we're worried about global warming, right? Does it matter where the oil comes from when it comes to worrying about climate change? If you say, okay, we're going to make up for that Russian oil that we're not going to import by having Venezuela pump out more oil, do you think that their standards for keeping environmental protections are any better there or in Russia or anywhere else than here? You think it's cleaner by doing it there when we could easily increase our production to make up for anything? In fact, we could increase our production to be energy independent in the Western Hemisphere, in North America. I mean, we're a net exporter of energy under the Trump administration. Why can't we do that again? And that would certainly take these, because remember, if the price of oil goes up and we're not sanctioning it from the Russians, then they're making more money off the oil that they're selling. If we ramped up our production, causing the price of oil to drop, that would also hurt the Russians, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be the best way to hurt the Russians right now? Stop buying oil from them, ramp up our production to lower the price of oil instead of asking the Sauds or taking sanctions off of Venezuela? What the actual F are you talking about? So anyway, here it is. I got another article here. Biden's handlers find another authoritarian state to buy oil from. Yes, we're worried about Trump, the authoritarian. NBC News with the Biden leads the free world against some whatever bullshit they wrote up that last article. Yes, we're so worried about Trump being authoritarian, but we try to go to another authoritarian to make up for oil that we're going to try to cut off from another authoritarian, and the authoritarians in the Saudi Arabia and all that. Why don't we just produce our own goddamn darn blasted oil? I'm I'm trying to be politically correct here. So anyway, this isn't rocket science. Gas prices are hitting astronomical new heights every day because old Joe Biden closed the Keystone Pipeline, ended our energy independence, and forced us to rely on supplies of Russian oil that have become problematic in all kinds of ways with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Yet, even as the crisis intensifies, Biden's puppet string pullers refuse to reverse course and restore Americans' own oil supplies. Instead, it's courting authoritarian regimes as if paying Russia for oil wasn't enough financing of tyranny already. Next in line, Venezuela. First came the Islamic Republic of Iran. On Wednesday, MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle asked Transportation Secretary Pete Mr. Mom Buttigieg if Biden would consider working something out with Iran. What are we talking about? By the way, Iran might have a nuclear weapon soon. Buttigieg wouldn't rule out that possibility. Really? No? I thought they were our mortal enemy. Oh, no, I forgot. Russia's been our mortal enemy ever since Hillary Clinton made up some stories about Donald Trump. Look, the president has said that all options are on the table, but we also need to make sure that we're not galloping after permanent solutions to immediate short-term problems where more strategic and tactical actions in the short term could make a difference. Okay, look, it's short-term as long as okay, can you dumbasses realize that we can walk and we can chew gum at the same time and maybe even give a speech and play with a yo-yo? Okay, we can increase our carbon energy or fossil fuel energy, whatever. We can increase production in that energy and still innovate in renewable, green, whatever electric bullshit energy that they haven't invented yet. We can do both at the same time. What do they call that during some presidential candidate ran on that? Drill, baby, drill, or every solution possible, or some shit like that. Good God. No, let's go to the Venezuelans who we had sanctioned, but, hey, we gotta, we need more oil, and we're going to try to cut off the Russians. But before we cut off the Russians, we got to make sure we can get more oil from somewhere else. How about from at home, where we have more reserves that we found? We might be the new Saudi Arabia ourselves, and we can net export. Oh, wait, I bet there's a lot of people in Congress making a lot of money off the high price of crude oil. I bet wouldn't it be cool to find out how many people in Congress, I mean the House and the Senate, and maybe even the White House, how many of them were invested in oil futures? I'm curious, because, boy, they'd be making a killing right now. Holy smokes, would they be making a killing right now? I bet there's a few of them. I'm just guessing. Anyway, so what was the other one? Get rid of Ace here. Oh, now we're gonna finish off with a couple more lighthearted things. First of all, we'll get rid of that. We'll get rid of Ace. All right, so we're gonna finish with a couple things here. Average California gas prices now over $5 a gallon. The average price of a gallon of self-serve regular gasoline in Los Angeles County has risen to $5.37. But a few stations, including this Chevron station in downtown LA, have surpassed $6 a gallon. Compared to, and this is just California, compared to $3.73 at the same time a year ago, according to latest data from American Automobile Association. That would be known as AAA. In Los Angeles County, the average price of gas for regular grade fuel. Okay, I already just said that because it's like they write the headline and then they write it in the caption for the picture. Then they write it again here. They have no creative juices whatsoever. So we know the gas prices are high, right? Well, if you pumped gas around the country anywhere lately, occasionally you might come up and notice a little sticker. A little tiny sticker that people like to put on the gas pumps, right? And there's a station manager in Alabama who says that he removes these stickers 5 or 6 a day. And that sticker is the little Biden I did that sticker. Now, I've seen these being sold on several online outlets. If you've been to a gas station lately, you might have seen the small stickers featuring Joe Biden, usually positioned so that he's pointing at the price with the caption, "I did that." The stickers are sold in packs of 100 online. They're turning up everywhere. One gas station manager in Alabama was recently featured in a local news report about this and said that he removes 5 or 6 of the stickers from his pumps every day. Apparently, stations can be fined by their corporations for vandalism if the stickers are not removed. Nicole Zednick reports at Okay, here's the report. I'll just let you listen. This is a short clip. Here's the clip.
It's this little sticker that's popping up across gas stations all across North Alabama. It's a picture of Joe Biden, and they place it next to the high dollar signs, and underneath it says, "I did that." And while it might seem like a funny political message to some, it could actually cost the gas stations a fine for vandalism.
Oh, wait.
I take off five or six a day from our different pumps.
Okay, so he's taking 5 or 6 a day from his pumps, different pumps. I feel bad for those guys because, you know, they have to do it. But oh, here's the full report. I thought that was only part of it. Let's see here.
Now that war is sending oil prices skyrocketing, and as gas prices surge in response, some people are voicing their concern with a satirical sticker at the pump.
Break the Dawn's Nicole Zednick joins us live now with how a small sticker is causing big problems for local gas stations.
Oh.
It's this little sticker that's popping up across gas stations all across North Alabama.
You know what's funny, though? You know what's funny? This little sticker is causing problems all across Alabama. And we bought one for ourselves. So I bet she has a stack of 100 of these. I bet she's one of the people putting these out there because, you know, it is Alabama.
Picture of Joe Biden, and they place it next to the high dollar signs, and underneath it says, "I did that." And while it might seem like a funny political message to some, it could actually cost the gas stations a fine for vandalism.
Maybe not.
I take off five or six a day from our different pumps.
The assistant manager of the Exxon off of Highway 72 in Athens says as gas prices keep climbing,
I've been seeing these
stickers are rising up
everywhere
with
I go.
I got one here. Is the "I did that," and then they put it by the pump. And
Oh, wait, are you selling those in your gas station? I'm just wondering. I bet you could sell them for $1 a piece. That would that would be funny if he's. I got one right here. The "I did that." I sell them right here, or next to the Swisher Sweets. I keep them behind the desk so nobody steals because everyone wants one, and I could sell these for $5 a piece if I wanted to because everybody it'd still be less than a gallon of gas if you got one. And so there you go. I'm selling these right again, like right there by the Swisher Sweets.
And it's supposed to be, I guess, that President Biden is causing the gas to go up.
a satirical joke that is turning away some customers.
I have had 1 or 2 people come in here and complain about it.
Not only that.
Oh, I'm heartbroken. I am heartbroken that someone is triggered and can't buy gas because they saw the sticker, as if the gas station manager put it there.
But the stickers could cost this locally owned station a corporate fine.
The point of the matter is it's causing issues for us because we get points taken off if our corporate comes by and does inspections. They do.
Perry Cagle.
Oh, and I'm sure they come and do inspection once a week to make sure you don't have any of those damn stickers on your pump. I'm sure they're out there all the time. I'm sure the fine is just overwhelming. They could say, yeah, you know what? We know they're popping up everywhere. Just try to keep them off if you can. I doubt it. It's God.
Is all for people voicing their political beliefs, just not at his workplace.
Put it on your car, put it on your house. Don't
put it on your car, put it in your house. They're made for the gas pumps.
Because the person who it's meant for will likely never see the message.
Joe Biden doesn't own this station, and he's not going to come by and fill up his tank and say that sticker and go, "Oh man, I should have lowered gas prices today."
All right. Well, yeah. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. And this whole thing is kind of crazy, isn't it? But I still don't understand why they refuse to ramp up American production. Temporarily, that'd be really good for some American companies. You pull in some tax dollars from the gas and stuff, buy, and especially during the summer coming up, travel season, boy, you need to get them prices down. Even though because they tend to go up in the summer. If it's already at $6 a gallon in some place in California, imagine what that's going to be if this nonsense continues. But we also want to deter Russia from fucking with Ukraine. So the best way to do that. Was it the Romney candidacy where they came up with drill baby drill? We do it in the most environmentally, most environmentally responsible way, right? Why don't we do it? Why don't we make up for the world that sanctions the Russians? Just saying. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today at the Morning Night Live. If you have not done so already, hit the like button before you go, because you have to like this stuff, right? You're still here. If you're still here, you like it. Don't tell me you don't like it. And also, please share the stream before, during, and after the show. I always appreciate it. The channel's growing slowly, but surely, thanks to you. And if you are watching on replay, put a comment in the comment section so I know you were here. I'll give you one of those little heart things because I try to acknowledge that people come in and say things. And every once in a while, I also comment. When I have time, I should probably comment more often on the comment section, but I do at least go in and look at it and see who's dropped by. I appreciate all of you. And finally, if you want to sponsor the show, like our friends Maddie, Black Hebrew Israelite, and Tarai Deos, you can do that at PDawgKnight.live, where you can watch the show, play in the chat, and donate to the show occasionally. Or you can use YouTube Super Chats if you don't mind giving Susan 30%, or if you just prefer to do it that way. I'm grateful no matter what you do. And thank you, everybody, for sponsoring the show. It is time for me to go. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll be back tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern, like every day, Monday through Friday, and occasional trail stop streams on Saturdays. That's it for today, people. Time to go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.